Model 20 air compressor, John Deere. Currently mounted to a 66 110 manual lift. Model 20 compressor is basically run off of the engine through a pulley. Maximum RPM is 1,000 RPM, and at the pulley for the compressor. And how it works is the compressor pumps up the air, which then goes through this check valve into the tank. And then this valve right here, this valve tray, we have a pressure setting, a release valve, or emergency release, however you want to call it, valve here, set for 150 psi. Then we have our check valve, or not a check valve, but our what I'll call our bypass valve. This bypass valve will open at 120 psi and feed air back to the compressor motor, which will open the valves, and that's what makes the compressor motor stop producing air. And then once it reaches 80 pounds, it will start producing, this check valve will close, or this bypass valve will close and start producing air again. Approximate CFM at 90 psi is about 4.3 calculated, maybe a little higher than that. Basically, it connects to the tractor through the front lift rod and a specific draft plate for the Model 20 compressor. It has this hole right here. This Model 20 compressor, I replaced the tank on it. Originally, this valve set right here should be located right here. But I replaced the tank with, originally they were 8-gallon tanks, and this is a 10-gallon tank. It is the same diameter, however it is overall 5 inches longer, strictly because the tank that was on it was had rusted out the bottom. I still have that tank with the goal of eventually having it re-welded and pressure tested. This tank I bought from Manchester Tank. I'm not sure if you can see the information right there. It's Manchester Tank. I went ahead and it's a 200 psi rated tank, strictly because for safety reasons, the fact that this tank was welded on to mount it to the frame. So that's why I went for a 200 psi tank, and just for safety reasons. So everything works as it should. Had the decals remade, and now I've already tested it out, but going to go ahead and show you how it operates. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up a hose, just an air hose to it, and then I'm going to crank the tractor up, and I'll show you how it cycles. So what I've done is I've hooked the air hose up to the tank, with the air nozzle on it. What we're going to do is we're going to sit here and watch the air pressure. This gauge is about 10 psi long. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and drain it. You hear that pop? That was the bypass valve opening, and as the bypass valve opens, it sends the air back to the compressor, which opens the valve so no more air is let into the tank. So we'll just go a big overview now so you can kind of see the compressor moving. Hear the engine start to labor. The pressure's bouncing up and down a little bit. And you hear it pop and then it stops. So that's the Model 20 air compressor. That's how it operates.